Maverica! Welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk Taíno. I'm Priscilla Colon, co-founder and creative here at Reito, where our mission is to promote the Taíno language and culture. Before we begin, I want to remind you about a huge event coming in August to the Taíno community. Reito is collaborating with the municipality of Canóvanas on Reencuentro Taíno Conference, which will be held August 6th through 11th. We are gathering linguists, archaeologists, and other experts to talk about the evolution of our Taíno language. So please follow at Taíno Conference on all social media sites, and you can visit www.tainoconference.org. Now let's get on with our lesson. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about a new verb. Buk'kepiá means to live or to reside in a place. And you can use this verb along with moon, which means in or at a place. Now, let's do an activity in which we'll ask and answer questions with this new verb, buk'kepiá, to live or to reside in a place. Let's start with the first question. Imagine someone is asking you where you live. What question can they ask? Correct. They can ask, Amaná, buk'kepiá, where do you live? Now imagine that you live in Puerto Rico. How could you answer that question? That's right. You can say, buk'kepiá mun boriken. I live in Puerto Rico. You'll notice throughout our exercise that you're going to use that phrase, buk'kepiá mun, to live in most of your answers. So that's an easy one. Let's take a look at the next question. Amaná manatí buk'kepiá, where does the manatee live? Let's take a look at this picture. I think the manatee lives in the sea. So how can we say that in Taíno? We can say, manatí buk'kepiá mun bagua. The manatee lives in the sea. Just in case you didn't realize, manatee is a Taíno word that was borrowed and became part of almost every other language in the world. Now let's take a look at our next picture. I see what looks like cactus. How do I ask, where does the cactus live? Correct. I can say, Amaná tuná buk'kepiá. Where does the cactus live? Well, we know that there are cacti in the desert. So let's answer the question. Tuná buk'kepiá mun isashi. The cactus lives in the desert. Now I have a trigger warning for those of you who suffer from arachnophobia. You might want to skip the next example. For the rest of you, are you brave enough to go with me? Let's take a look. How do I ask, where does the spider live? In Taíno, I can say, Amaná guabá buk'kepiá. Where does the spider live? Before we answer that question, you're going to need to know a little bit more about the word guabá and where it comes from. So let's read up on that first. Guabá is a Taíno word that can mean spider, but is also commonly known as the whip spider or the tailless whip scorpion. It hides under leaves and bark and spends a lot of times in caves. You can find many guabá nagu spiders in guacaranagu caves in Boriken, Puerto Rico. Now we can answer the question. Guabá buk'kepiá mun guacara. The spider lives in the cave. That was a pretty easy lesson, right? We use buk'kepiá mun, to live in, to talk about where people, plants, and animals live. Now, why don't we review one more time everything we learned today? Buk'kepiá, to live or to reside. Amaná buk'kepiá, where do you live? Buk'kepiá mun, I live in Boriken, Puerto Rico. Manatí, Taíno word that was borrowed and became manatee. Mun bagua, in the sea. Tuná, cactus. Isashi, desert. Mun isashi, in the desert. Guabá, spider. Guacara, cave. Mun guacara, in the cave. Now, before we leave for today, I have some homework for you. I want you to answer the question, Amaná buk'kepiá, where do you live? And you can answer with the following phrase, buk'kepiá mun, and then fill in the blank with your city or state or anything else that you would like. You can write your responses below in the comments. Thank you again for watching, for being here week after week learning Taíno. I know that sometimes it can be difficult to keep up with your language lessons, but I know together we can do it. When you get the chance, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's a great way to stay in the know about all of the projects that we're working on, including Taíno Conference, so make sure you check that out. In the meantime, Tay Karaya Guaitiao Nago.